What's your name?
Jeremiah.
How old are you, Jeremiah?
13.
You are 13. Who do you live with, Jeremiah?
Stacy and Jess.
He was born 2 months premature. He was adopted right at birth. As soon as he was born, he was taken from his parents. Mom wasn't even aware she was pregnant. Drugs were an issue with both of the parents. He was placed with a couple who had several other adopted special needs children. They were known for, taking the kids in the community. He was in the hospital for 2 months. 6 of those were detoxing off the drugs, and then the rest was just because of his health impairments. Then he went home with them, and then when he was 6 years old, adopted mom passed away, from cancer, and adopted dad turned Jer over to the state. And I had taught him. I was the adaptive physical education teacher in Cabarrus County, which is in North Carolina. And he, I wasn't aware of any of this at the time. And he went into a emergency foster care. Well, about 2 weeks after that, we had a staff meeting that day. It was a day off school when we were in professional development. And his actual K2 teacher was sitting behind me, one of my good friends, and was crying in the meeting. She was in and out on the phone. And finally, we had a break, and I'm like, what is going on with you? What's up? And she told me that the foster people weren't taking care of him. And so they brought all his stuff and just dropped him off at social services. And he was sitting at social services with a garbage bag full of his stuff, and that was it. They didn't have anywhere to place him. And it was funny because just that morning I had caught my mom on the phone trying to become a foster parent, and I was like, I just kind of looked at her and I'm like, let me make a phone call. So we had a break, so I went outside and called my mom. My mom was like, okay, let's do it. And I had seen Jeremiah, but it was only one time a week because that's when he had gym. And so he was not, what I knew about him at that time from personal experience was he was nonverbal. He wore diapers, his food needed to be blended, and he was 6.5 at the time. He's mobile, but due to only having one eye and one ear, his motor skills can be a little, questionable. So we were like, okay, we'll do it. So after the meeting, I went home, I picked up my mom, and we went to social services. We signed the papers, and the next day, I picked him up from school, took him home. I sat him on the couch, we watched cartoons, and I'm just kind of like, oh Lord, now what? It was crazy. It probably took about a year before I really bought into, okay, this is what parenthood's like. I just don't think I was necessarily ready yet to do that, but we have had him ever since, and it's awesome. And now it's hard to imagine what it was like before we had him. Jeremiah was born without an eye on his left side, no eyeball at all, and an ear. It was just, we called it his little nub. It was just like a little nub. He didn't have an ear canal or anything there. And we actually started taking him to EDUC University Medical Center. They have world-renowned doctors there. It's amazing. And they ended up taking part of his rib cartilage and constructing him a new ear. It actually, it's on there, it grows with it. It's it's connected, it's his.
He wears a cochlear implant sometimes at school.
He wears, it's called a Baja implant, and it is, that when they did the ear surgery, they put that in as well, so he can hear, but he doesn't like to wear it at home. Same with his glasses. School is school, home is home. He's very separated.
Is that a challenge for him, not wearing it at home? Do you see yourself trying to get his attention more and more?
Not at all. That kid can hear me outside across the street. I don't understand. And his eye that he does have, he only has peripheral vision in. So a lot of times you'll see him, he'll swing his head, and that's just because he's trying to get the full view of it. But he can maneuver wonderfully. And he's getting ready to have some dental surgery done. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we are right now, because he's going to need braces, but some stuff have to happen before that can happen.
What are some of Jeremiah's strengths?
He is very social. He'll follow directions. He can adapt to change with no problems. He has no behavior issues. So he's very go with the flow.
Okay, then what do you see some of his weaknesses are at home and in the school environment?
Weaknesses, I don't think just because he's so social, I don't necessarily know if he would have those boundaries. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows what's right and wrong, but I think if somebody came up to him and said, "Oh, Stacy told me to bring you here," he would go.
So does he have the concept of like stranger danger, or just because he's so social, that's what would worry you?
I think he's a lot like me in the fact that we've never met a stranger. Mm-hmm. Everybody who meets us wants to talk to us. Mm-hmm. We met a lady yesterday in Walmart who just came up and wanted to talk to him and know about him. And then, she whispers in my ear, "Oh, I have a special needs child at home." Mm-hmm. So, and he just loves meeting new people.
The first observation was conducted at Rock and Jump, one of Jeremiah's favorite activities. Rock and Jump was hosting a sensory-friendly night. 2 friends went to this event with Jeremiah. Skills needed to participate in this community activity included walking up ramps and stairs, taking shoes on and off, putting socks on, jumping on trampolines, communicating and cooperating with friends and other community members, and jumping into and crawling out of foam pits. Jeremiah was able to take his shoes off and put on the given socks. Though he put his socks on, Stacy needed to rotate one of his socks so that the grip was on the bottom. He was very excited to play, so he was rocking back and forth and waving his hands. Jeremiah was able to walk up the stairs by holding the railing. Jeremiah was observed communicating with his best friends, as well as holding their hands to jump on the trampoline. Overall, Jeremiah exhibited age-appropriate social skills in this setting. Jeremiah lost his balance at time, but just laughed and stood back up. Jeremiah was able to jump into the foam pits by holding on to his friend's hands. He experienced slight difficulty getting out of the foam pit the first 2 times, requiring assistance from one of his friend's mother. After, he was able to get out of the foam pit independently. At the end of the day, Jeremiah was very well behaved when it was time to leave. He took off his socks but required assistance putting his shoes back on. The second observation was conducted at Walmart, where Stacy and Jeremiah were grocery shopping for the week. Skills needed in the grocery store include selecting a cart, pushing a cart, walking down aisles, locating grocery items on shelves, picking up the grocery items, placing them in the cart, going through a checkout line, placing items on the scanner, putting them into bags, and loading the car with the bags. Jeremiah pushed the cart for approximately 5 minutes out of 37 minutes. Jeremiah experienced difficulties pushing the cart in a straight path. He was directed to find items on shelves and put them in the cart. On some instances, Jeremiah was able to locate items quickly. On other occasions, Jeremiah needed verbal prompts to locate the items.
Look, right there's the chocolate.
He was able to pick up the items and place them in the cart gently. After they completed shopping, Jeremiah handed Stacy items to scan and put in bags. When they got into their car, Stacy opened the Jeep's back seat, and Jeremiah assisted handing Stacy 2 small bags, then got into the car. The third observation was done at Jeremiah's home in the morning. The family sat in the living room and watched television. After approximately 10 minutes, the family relocated to the dining room to eat breakfast. Stacy, Jess, and Joni, Jeremiah's guardians, prepared and ate cereal. Jeremiah requested oatmeal. Skills needed for eating breakfast include selecting food, preparation of food, determining which utensils to use, using a spoon, drinking from a cup, participating in conversations, cleaning up, and doing dishes. Jeremiah was observed selecting a spoon, carrying his drink that was already prepared from the morning, and sitting at a table. He did not help to prepare the food or serve himself. Stacy prepared the food, put the food in a bowl, and brought it to him. Jeremiah ate independently and participated in conversations with his family members. When he was done with breakfast, he brought his bowl to the sink and Joni did the dishes. After breakfast was over, Jeremiah walked to the couch and turned on the television, which was already on his favorite channel. Jeremiah sat on the couch with a blanket and watched Paw Patrol. After about 15 minutes, Jeremiah got up to use the bathroom independently. On his way back from the bathroom, he walked to the back door and let the dog in. After letting the dog inside, he resumed his spot on the couch. In conjunction with the previously stated observations, Jeremiah was observed on 5 separate occasions at school. Jeremiah loves school, his teachers, and his peers. A few skills students need in school include reading, writing, communication, collaboration, taking materials out and putting them away, flexibility with scheduling, and more. Jeremiah was observed in many different situations. The first occasion he was observed was during ELA time. Jeremiah sat at a back table where he used an assistive technology device to enlarge the screen of a smartboard. He was directed to read from a story that had both words and picture cues. The teacher read first, and Jeremiah pointed to the words on the screen and read after her. The second time Jeremiah was observed was during writing. He was practicing using his name stamp to write his name. He also received hand-over-hand assistance in writing vocabulary words from the ELA story. The third observation was during free time. Jeremiah engaged in free time activities with his classmates. He held conversations with his peers and his teacher. For a part of the time, his teacher directed him to build with blocks. He was able to find the correct blocks and build with the blocks with one of his classmates. The third observation was after school when Jeremiah was working with his vision therapist. He and his therapist were working on using a cane to walk up and down stairs. Jeremiah's therapist offered physical prompting using the least to most strategy. The last observation was immediately following lunch. His class held an early birthday celebration for him. He sang happy birthday to himself. He ate a birthday snack independently, but did not serve himself or clean up. I chose to do my multimedia project on Jeremiah because of my previous encounters with him. He has always been an approachable and joyful child who is excited to be around people. Additionally, Jeremiah is a student who is in the beginning years of the transition process and whom receives a variety of related services. By completing the multimedia project, I was able to get a first-hand insight on a family's dynamic with a student with significant disabilities. Learning about Jeremiah's life story from birth to present was very eye-opening. I was taken back by what this family has gone through and experienced, as well as what Jeremiah has overcome. From speaking with Stacy and other parents of students with special needs, stories like Jeremiah's has happened more than what I previously thought. Learning Jeremiah's story has altered my perceptions on the complexity of individuals with significant disabilities. Further, seeing how positive Stacy and Jeremiah's other guardians were about pushing him to overcome boundaries was heartwarming. Many times, I have experienced parents of students with special needs who coddle their child or do not want their child to be pushed to be included. Jeremiah's family believes that he can achieve anything he wants to achieve, just as I do. By completing this project, I was able to see what a good relationship between school and home is like. Jeremiah's family and his teacher has a very open relationship and are very collaborative. From what I have learned through this project is that parental collaboration is key. Parents and guardians truly know the most about their child and what their child needs. Their goals, for example, most independence as possible, aligns with the goals of a good special education teacher. As a self-contained special education teacher, I extensively try to promote parental collaboration in my classroom. However, I have not had the same experiences as this family has had. The parents of my students are often not receptive to working together. Many parents I have encountered do not care, for lack of better words, to collaborate or participate in the decision-making process. I think this could be a result of the socioeconomic status of many of my students. Seeing what a good home-school relationship looks like made me feel very positive and reignites the desire to keep pushing for the positive relationship they have. One way I will promote collaboration is through home community visits. I currently attend any recreational sporting events that I can go to for the students in my class, but I want to build more of a relationship with my parents and get them excited about being involved in their child's education. Another thing that I plan to truly begin is person-centered planning for my transition students. I do involve my students and their parents in the transition process, but not to the full extent of person-centered planning. I think that Jeremiah and his family would be very open to being involved in person-centered planning. That would give his teacher better insights of their desires and long-term personal goals for their child. It would also take their collaboration to the next level. I really enjoyed the multimedia project. I gained a whole new picture of what a student with significant disabilities is like. I enjoyed being able to create the relationship I did with this family and see what a good school-home relationship looks like. This project has inspired me to put more drive into learning more about each one of my students and their story to gain a more holistic understanding of their experiences. By doing so, I will be better equipped to make educational decisions, and I will hopefully open the door for more positive parental collaboration.